People identified a problem in the Persona fandom, but I think they identified the wrong problem. This person got outraged at someone saying that they lost gallons of male juice to Nanako from Persona 4. Okay, that is disgusting. I definitely do not need to know that. Yes, she's a fictional character, she's not real. That doesn't mean that I and everyone else have to know how horny you are on your single-player activities and the disgusting outcome of all that. Keep that to yourself, please. Also, she lost gallons of male juice? TMI is what I'm saying, and unfortunately, the problem with most people on the internet is that they have some seriously uncontrollable lust to characters, and they will let the whole world know about it, even if the world doesn't want to know or need to know it. I've seen the one with the pragmatic girl Diana. You want to polish your rockets to her? Fine, she's not real, but you don't have to go to a completely safe for work pose and tell people, hey, I polished my rockets to her, and I am not proud of that. What is wrong with you? Look, we're all degenerates here. We pleasure ourselves to all sorts of messed up stuff, but we also have to be civilized and set boundaries. The least that you can do online is not to make people uncomfortable by telling them about your nasty habits in explicit detail. Too many people online couldn't set those boundaries, and I think it's better to remind people of all that. Let's go back to the Persona fandoms because apparently a lot of them are fragile. People do not put up with predators and degenerates anymore, as they should! Okay, but we are talking about a franchise where you can romance high schoolers and even adults. Persona 3 Portable lets you romance a 10-year-old, and the game is fully aware of how incredibly messed up that is. Most stuff back then wasn't even funny, man. Like, I remember a dude wanting to control Fuka as a joke. Congratulations, you found a weirdo with absolutely no social skills online. They exist in all fandoms, not just Persona. But especially Persona. And no, I will not let you control my beloved. Normal people are going to find you at least a little weird if you're a grown adult playing a game where you can date high school kids. Yeah, that's not true. The reality is, normal people really don't give a damn about what you do in games. Normal people are too busy dealing with normal stuff in real life. Try talking to the people close to your life and see how much they care about how much you want to romance the homeroom teacher, or a 10-year-old, or a junior. I do agree the term predator is flung around to the point where it can lose its weight, and that's upsetting. I'm glad that you recognize that we shouldn't call people predators or criminals for dating a fictional character. I wish everyone would do the same. Let's move on from a Persona fandom to fiction in general, and how they are not to blame for your unfortunate predicament. Some kids wander to adult spaces, and they wonder why they screw up. I consumed these animes at an early age, which led me to create OCs based on them. These boys love comics are clearly meant for the adult audiences. These are not meant for you. You're not supposed to be in this space to begin with, so how the hell did you end up here? Which made me normalize it, and therefore I ended up watching a lot of material that mentally damaged me. This seems to be entirely your own doing. You're the one who normalized the interactions. You're the one who thinks that fiction is reality. The fact that you're blaming it on fiction shows zero personal responsibility on your part. I was groomed, and my groomer made me normalize it more and more. Yeah, that groomer shouldn't be interacting with children to begin with. But then again, you're the one who put yourself in an adult space and openly interact with adults there. Maybe, just maybe, this whole thing wouldn't have happened if you, as a minor, stop interacting with strangers online. Maybe, if you take some personal responsibility for your actions and stop blaming fiction for what happened to you, you would have grown significantly as a person. Some people really put the blame on the wrong thing for tragic events. Guys, at no point did I blame those animes entirely for grooming me. If you didn't, then why do you quote tweet a bunch of boys love anime? Denying that the communities around them are often full of criminals. Whoa, wait a second. Yaoi? Boys love? Communities often full of criminals?
You have a single fact to back that up.
I think the bigger point that we need to address here is how you conclude that a whole community is full of criminals because you were groomed by someone at some point. Just because a couple of predators like boys' love and they use boys' love to manipulate you when you are a kid doesn't mean that everyone that loves boys' love are also just like them. Are you all going to play blind and say that content that normalizes and romanticizes illegal or taboo behaviors doesn't attract that kind of people who take advantage of unsupervised minor? Excuse me? You literally said, at no point did I blame those animes entirely for grooming me. And here you are doing exactly that. You're blaming the anime for what happened to you. I suggest you stop doing that and start blaming the real people that harm you before you justify their excuses here. Some people are genuinely damaged by their own trauma that they blame fiction on what happened to them instead of taking some personal responsibility. Problematic media that romanticizes the topic just normalizes the issue and makes people think it's not problematic. Problematic, romanticization, normalization. Do you know what any of these words mean? No. Problematic media that romanticize problematic topics do not normalize the topics in real life. They normalize them in fiction. That's why fictional blood and gore is normal, but real blood and gore are genuinely sickening. The same tactics these pro-shippers use is the same as my groomer did, and they claim it's just fiction. And somehow you think the fiction is to blame and not the groomer for manipulating you? Do you realize that you're validating their excuse? Pro-fiction media literally caused me to normalize my abuse. No, your groomer normalized your abuse. Your groomer manipulates you into thinking that what's wrong is right. Fiction doesn't do that by itself. Someone has to tell you that fiction is reality. That person is still influencing you right now to this day. Please seek help. Some people are so demented with their anti-fiction crusade that they actually blame fiction over their actual real-life abuser. It allowed my abuser to get me to do whatever he wanted, and I didn't know I could say no. Yeah, that sounds like the abuser's fault, not fiction. How is that fiction's fault? People always act so surprised when dark fictional media causes this. They don't. By the way you described them, your groomer used dark media to groom you. Not that dark media influences the groomer or influences you. You are a person. Your abuser is a person. You both have free will and autonomy. Stop pretending they don't exist. You are a person who can make choices. The abuser takes away your choice. Your abuser is to blame, not the tools they use to take your choices away. How is this so hard to understand? Those leeches want to act like it was my fault or I'm harassing them. They literally are harassing me. You blame fiction instead of your abuser for abusing you, and you wonder why people are upset. This is borderline Stockholm Syndrome. You are indirectly defending your abuser by blaming fiction. My abuser is not the one that caused me to believe fiction is reality. Fiction is. Seek help. Genuinely. Seek professional, psychological help. My god, this is just a compilation of bad takes on a topic that really shouldn't have been this serious. When PDP realized they couldn't be called PDP, they rebranded as a queer identity. That's how we got maps. I don't get why they even have that rebranding or that the branding is something to be proud of. MAP, in case you don't know, is person attracted to minors. And no, the rebranding is not helping their case at all. When it didn't work, they rebranded to be anti-censorship. Whoa, hold on. I'm anti-censorship. I got no affiliation with PDPs or MAPs. Just because I defend the right for LOL show to exist doesn't mean I'm in favor of people actually endangering children. That's how we got pro-shippers. No, pro-shippers and pro-fiction in general are interested in pairing fictional characters that are not real. That's how it started. Yes, some actual criminals hijacked the LOL show terms, but being hijacked by actually malicious parties doesn't mean an endorsement, nor does it mean we are represented by them. Then they started grooming children into thinking it's normal to be a pro-shipper. Even children love pairing characters together. I did that when I was a kid. I was genuinely rooting for Aang and Katara. I was rooting for Inuyasha and Kagome, Naruto and Hinata, Robin and Starfire, vanilla ships. But you get my point. Shipping characters is normal. Everyone in a fandom does that. What isn't normal is having kids to participate in the adult side of shipping characters. And unfortunately, way too many people love to involve them in adult scenarios. And those people, I immediately classify as danger. I hope every minor in the pro-shipper community finds the help they need. They don't need help for doing something that is normal and innocuous involving fictional characters. They do need help if they participate in an adult space. And that help involves kicking them out. I hope every adult in the pro-shipper community gets outed as the PDPs they truly are. Except they're not. We always make sure that kids are not allowed in adult spaces. And sorry to say this, but the anti-shippers, based on the reset the clock data analysis I did, are twice as likely to commit illegal activities and inappropriate behaviors to children compared to the pro-shippers. Even if pro-ships and pro-fiction people engage in heinous and criminal behaviors, being anti all of those things make you twice as likely to engage in them. And that's all for the video today. Here's a cat. Huge thanks to all the wonderful sponsors this week. You're all fantastic. Don't forget to check out my previous videos here. Click the like button, comment, subscribe, join the YouTube membership, leave some tips, just $1 down below. And thanks for watching.